Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Reel Me In, a movie podcast where you didn't really ask for, but hey, I'm going to give it to you anyways. This is a podcast where I talk about anything, everything, and anything about movies. I'm your host, Chase Lee, and hey, guys, listen, if you were searching on the internet for some weird recipe that you want to make for your girlfriend or boyfriend, and you just absolutely suck at cooking, so you have to rely on the internet for that shit, and you accidentally came across my podcast, and you're not a movie fan, well, hopefully I can convince you to be one. So if you guys are new to the show, welcome. Hopefully I didn't scare you off too much within that first 40 seconds. What I do on this show is I'll go over some movie news, some trailers that dropped, and have reviews of movies coming out that particular weekend. So for this weekend, we're going to review Keanu, and then I will review Green Room. Should be pretty damn fun, but I'm not by myself. I know. This is 2 weeks in a row where I've had a guest, so I know. I actually do have friends. I know people. That's a fact. So because people are always like, you never have anyone on. It's like I don't want to bother anyone. Like this is a low bit podcast. You know, I'm not going to be like, hey, do you want to come on my podcast? No, they don't. They got shit to do. These people are busy. So well, first before I introduce my guest, if you're watching on YouTube and you want an audio-only version of the podcast, link will be in the description below. And if you're listening on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or SoundCloud, and you want a video version to see me and Tony's face, then you can have that option. But speaking of Tony, I am joined by a guest, and he has his own YouTube channel, and he goes by 22 Tiger Dude. It is Tony Estrada. And first, before I let him start talking, Tony, I got to congratulate you. This fucking guy hit 2,000 subs on his YouTube channel. So, Tony, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Chase. I feel very honored to be on your podcast, and thank you very much, you guys. I just hit 2,000 subscribers recently, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. So, thank you so much, and of course, thanks to the support of Chase as well. So, let's rock the Reel Me In podcast.
Oh yeah, and Tony's being very nice. Like he says he's very honored, but deep down he knows that I blackmailed him, and he's just doing this as a favor, and he's just gonna run away and just have a restraining order on me. But until that restraining order comes to my face, we'll have him on the podcast. We'll talk about stuff. So all right, so let's get this started, guys. Let's start with the movie news. Tony, since you were the guest and I gave you the notes, what would you like to talk about first?
Let's see. Actually, you know what? Let me actually pull out my phone very quick.
Oh, yeah. Look, ladies and gentlemen, this is live. This is what happens.
We are the most prepared people on the planet.
I know. This is why we're doing very well.
All right. How about we talk about the fact that Fox isn't going to Comic-Con?
Okay. Yeah, so the story is that 20th Century Fox is pulling out of Comic-Con, and ever since Disney has kind of pulled out, and they're going to put their own stuff in D23, now studios are starting to follow suit because of the whole piracy thing from last year. Because Tony and I, we can think of this very vividly. I remember last year, Suicide Squad leaked, and a bunch of other stuff leaked, and all these studios had to step up and be like, okay, well let's just release it online. So for me personally, it kind of sucks that there's some douchebags in the world, some douche nozzles that just love to pirate stuff and throw them online. It's hard to control a crowd of 6,000 people. I get that, but at the same time, there's gonna be some motherfucker in there that's gonna do it, and they're gonna ruin it for everyone. But they don't really need Comic-Con, because as I was thinking about this story, I realized that if you just throw it up on YouTube or throw it up on your site, you're going to get more hits and more traffic than you ever had before. Now, the leaked Suicide Squad trailer, I still remember it. It came out, it leaked, and it got maybe 1 million hits. So Warner Bros. Was forced to put out the HD version, and guess what? That very first trailer from Comic-Con, I don't know what the exact number is, but I think it's 60 million hits. So I think it's not a problem for them exiting out, and maybe that will force Comic-Con to kind of reinvent what they're doing, because they've been doing the same kind of formula for years. So maybe they can change it up. But I don't see it as a problem, because you can throw it on YouTube. So Tony, how do you take this whole situation?
I do think it's pretty unfortunate that they're kind of doing this because, yeah, like you said, you can't control really a crowd of what, like 60,000 people, depending how many people Comic-Con have.
There's thousands of people there, so like it's tough. I get it. So
yeah, like I could see where they're coming from, but at the same time, I just don't really see the point of them having to do like no trailers because of what happened. Because the reality is, it's gonna happen no matter what. Yeah. So, it's just a matter of how they control the crowd and how they get the trailers leaked online before they release it in HD. So, while I understand their point, at the same time, I do think it's unfair, especially to those that are taking the time to go out to Comic-Con that were actually looking forward to seeing whatever Fox wanted to originally showcase over there.
Well, I mean, because it is kind of sad for us as fans and stuff, because I guarantee you 20th Century Fox would have had some type of Deadpool 2 footage. They would have definitely had something for the last Wolverine, because like that's a huge event as Hugh Jackman's last kind of outing as that character. So they could have had a lot of stuff to show, but yeah, it is unfortunate, but them pulling out does mean that more studios might follow suit, and then Comic-Con will basically be a little empty in the Hall H department. But the thing is, like, people have to realize it's expensive to go. So that's what I'm saying. If you just throw your trailer up online, that's free. YouTube is free. And we're recording on this website right now. You can do that, and you can get a lot of revenue from a lot of views and hits, and that would actually give you more money than spending all this money to take people to Comic-Con. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but it is unfortunate because I do love me some X-Men. So, speaking of comic book stuff, since that's pretty much what dominates the headlines nowadays, Inhumans. Now, Marvel announced the Inhumans, Tony, what was it, like 2019?
Yeah, they said they had it slated for July 12th, 2019.
Okay, so it's still 3 years from now, and what Marvel said they were going to do is they're going to pull it. Now, that's okay with me, because I never would have thought Inhumans would really work anyways. X-Men is such a dominating force on the screens and stuff. People might look at that and go, oh, it's just an X-Men ripoff, and then that actually might be the first like movie to turn people away from Marvel, which is not what we want. Because listen, Tony and I haven't really discussed this, because like I do, I follow Tony and I stalk him, just very quietly, but I don't. Tony, don't get me wrong, but like you're not like a huge fan of the superhero genre, are you?
Oh, I love the superhero genre.
Oh, Tony is my friend, everyone. No, because it's some people just aren't and stuff, and some people are kind of lukewarm and stuff. Because I've seen all of Tony's reviews and stuff, and I see when he comments on stuff on Facebook and stuff, and it's kind of hard to judge people when they're typing stuff out what their emotions are. So
because you have different perspectives depending on the topic is.
Exactly. So Tony could have written something with just a straight up period, and I would have been like, oh, so he was just lukewarm on it, but he's probably just really excited. So, yeah, so Inhumans is going to be pulled. It's not going to happen anymore. I'm okay with this, because if you look at their slate, they added Ant-Man and the Wasp. They added Spider-Man. So taking out this one's not going to really make much of a difference, because they added so many more new things, and I just don't think it would have really worked that well, to be honest with you, because I'm a huge X-Men fan. So Inhumans, I would have still gone to see it, because I'm a huge comic book person, hence why I have all that shit in the background of my yeah. So it's a smart decision, smart business decision. There's really nothing more I could say about it. But Tony, what do you think about the X-Men? And do you think that the Inhumans could have worked? And like, were you even looking forward to it, or just give me your thoughts on it?
Well, I wasn't aware of Inhumans at first, because I don't keep up with like comic books, because I like to go into these films just like being surprised, not really having too much knowledge of them when I go into each of these comic book movies. But I think Inhumans could have worked as a movie, but I can agree with you that because of them adding Ant-Man and the Wasp and Spider-Man Homecoming, that their schedule's already packed enough. And while I know some people were disappointed because I did read the comment section, I do think it was, like what you said, a smart business decision to take Inhumans out. Plus, Inhumans, they were already introduced in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I think if anything, if they still want to do an Inhuman storyline, they could either continue it in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or who knows, maybe even give them their own television series.
I've never seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I have no earthly idea what's going on. So that makes a whole lot of sense then. If they're being introduced on that show, that means they could just continue on there. And then, hey, listen, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is already a part of that universe. So if they have Inhumans on that show, then yeah, you could easily like put them into a movie, just kind of slip them in, you know? So, yeah, it doesn't really bother me that much, but I was still going to see it because I'm a Marvel fanboy and a DC fanboy. So just calm down, people. I don't choose sides. I like both. Just calm your tits. But yeah, speaking of Spider-Man, Tony, let's jump to the obvious piece of news is that Kevin Feige, he's on the circuit for Marvel Civil War, and people ask him about Spider-Man stuff, and he basically said that, like, if you read those quotes, I don't know the exact wording, but he's like, they have full creative control over Spider-Man. And a lot of people might go, well, duh, no shit, because here's the deal. Spider-Man had 5 Spider-Man movies. Now, I like 3 of them. So I'm not going to say they dropped the ball in every single one of them, but since they've dropped the ball so many times, why would you give the keys to your 5-year-old while you're away on the weekend when you know that he's going to fucking tear shit up? So that just makes a whole lot of sense to me that Marvel would be the one to kind of step in control and really rein in on this the Spider-Man, because listen, why would you want to acquire these rights to put Spider-Man in this universe if you're just going to let Sony take care of it? No, because they haven't really hey, Liz, it's all about what you did last, right? So Amazing Spider-Man 2, not a huge fan of it. So when you look at that, it's like, no, I don't want Sony to take control of it. So it's very obvious that Marvel would take control, and I'm glad that Kevin Feige is putting his balls on the table and going, no, Sony, you cannot do that anymore. You can be there as a support team, but you're not going to fucking take over anymore. So that makes me even more excited for Spider-Man Homecoming, and I'm still not – it's whatever on the title, but I'm still looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to Civil War very, very much, and that's next week. So I'm excited to see this incarnation of Spider-Man. But, Tony, when you hear that Kevin Feige is going to take full control basically over Spider-Man, does this really surprise you?
No, not really, to be honest, and I think it is for the better. Personally, I actually really enjoyed all the Spider-Man movies, like, despite Sony having like control over like Spider-Man 3 and the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I really enjoyed them, but I know how they did critically, and financially, I think Spider-Man 3 did good financially, but I know the Amazing Spider-Man 2 really lost a lot of money. Like, it did well, and then it was losing a lot of money as time was going over, and seeing how much money Sony lost with that movie, they can't risk to have another movie to have control over. So I do think it's smart that, Kevin Feige, Marvel just in general, having creative control. I think that's good that Sony, is letting them, like, they basically trust them at this point, because Sony's like, okay, we know what Marvel's doing, so let's just let them do what they want with the movie. And so because of that, it could hopefully deliver the Spider-Man movie that people are hoping to see.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this incarnation of Spider-Man. Tony, I haven't talked to you about it, but are you pumped for Civil War as much as I am?
Oh, dude, it's my most anticipated movie of the year. Oh,
it's going to be great, man. I got my tickets ready to go. My roommate and I are going next Sunday. It's going to be great. It's going to be golden, and I'm probably going to just die in the theater because it just looks amazing. I've heard so many great things. I'm just going to die from excitement, and I'll probably just – my dead body will sit in that theater chair, and my soul will leave, and I'll be like, I've been fulfilled, as I'm, like, rising up to the ceiling. I've been fulfilled, my child. So –
it's all like the movie is so good that you die and your spirit rises up to heaven.
See, that would be the best movie ever. So if I like die, my spirit arises or whatever, and they're just like, what was your favorite movie on earth? It's like, well, obviously the one that killed me. So Yeah. I'm looking forward to Civil War. Cannot fucking wait. That will be next week's show. But yeah, that is it for that piece of news. Tony, we have 2 more stories left. What would you like to talk about?
Alicia Vikander casted as Lara Croft.
Okay, so Alicia Vikander recently won her Best Supporting Actress Oscar for The Danish Girl. I did not see the movie, but you know what? If she won it, she won it. She was not my pick. It was Kate Winslet, but whatever. Yeah, so Alicia Vikander, she's on the rise. She was like in 5 movies last year, including like The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Ex Machina. She was in Burnt for a little bit. This chick is everywhere. And the news is that she is going to be Lara Croft, the main character in Tomb Raider. And it's going to be based off of the kind of rebooted version of it that was like in 2013, I believe, or 2012. It was, literally less than 5 years ago. But I played that game for a little bit, and it's pretty cool. And I saw my roommate play it when I was in college, and I was like, damn, this is really, really slick. So having Alicia Vikander in this role, first of all, she's an Oscar winner, which is exactly what Angelina Jolie was. So, I mean, that might be a curse, but I don't think it is. You have an Oscar winner. Then they're going to do it off of the kind of newest games. It seems like it could be a really kind of cool female Indiana Jones type of movie with a little bit more edge to it. And the cool thing is, if they continue to still date, that means Alicia Vikander will be Lara Croft, and her beau is Michael Fassbender, and he's playing Assassin's Creed guy. So that's kind of cool. It's a little fact for you guys. So I'm actually really excited to see this. I want to see her play Lara Croft. I think it should be pretty damn fun. So, Tony, have you played the newest Tomb Raider games, and what do you think about this news?
The one that came out in 2013, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, no, I haven't played it, but since I have a PS3, maybe because I'm hearing about this movie basing it off of the 2013 video game, I might consider actually just picking it up because I want to learn more about the character before I see the movie.
Yeah.
And then as for Alicia Vikander, I know a lot of people were hoping Daisy Ridley would be casted, including me. But I know she's way too busy with Star Wars Episode 8 right now, which is understandable. Yeah. So really, if I could think of a second choice, I think Alicia Vikander is the right choice to play Lara Croft. It'll be cool to see her in like a big blockbuster. I guess you could kind of say The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was a big blockbuster, so it'll be cool to see her in another one. And I look forward to seeing how she'll just portray the character. I don't know too much about the character. It's been years since I've seen the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies, like since I was a kid. So I don't have like huge knowledge of the character, but I do look forward to seeing where they can take the character. And just knowing how talented Alicia Vikander is, I know she'll do a really great job playing Lara Croft.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see it. And she's a talent, man. Like, I was just blown away by her in Ex Machina. I was like, who the fuck is this chick? And then she was a Man from U.N.C.L.E. I didn't see it, but the trailers, I was like, there she is again. Then she was in Burnt. And it's like, and then she's in The Danish Girl. It's like, she was literally in almost every single movie last year. It's like, oh, what movies are coming out this weekend? Oh, Alicia Vikander's in it. Okay, that doesn't really surprise me. So, her being Lara Croft, I'm really intrigued to see it now, because not only did I like the reincarnation of the video game, I think she'll kill it, like Tony said. She's an Oscar winner now. She's like super young in her career. She's only going to get better from here. And I think adding this blockbuster under her belt will really kind of just make her career more diversified or whatever. So, yeah, I'm really excited to see that. So, and the last piece of news, guys, is that Netflix has ordered a Punisher series. And oh, man, that's fucking awesome. I never reviewed it on this podcast, but I really love Daredevil Season 2. It is some of the best television you will see, especially that first 4 episodes with Daredevil and the Punisher. It's just good stuff, man. And I'm actually kind of conflicted, to be honest with you, because I really like what John Bernthal did as Frank Castle in the series, and it was the right amount of him in that series. do we really need to see a full series? Because if you watch Daredevil season 2, this is not spoiling anything, but they do give his backstory, and they kind of, they humanize him and stuff because he is a avenging killer or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know if I could watch a full series of it, but hey, if they make the storyline interesting, then I'm all on board. So I'm kind of so on it, but The Punisher in Daredevil Season 2 is the tits. Jon Bernthal needs to win an Emmy. He needs to win a Golden Globe. He needs to win fucking everything. It's just it's a good-ass season of that show, and Daredevil is one of the best that Netflix has ever produced. And I'm going to go on record, and I'll say it again. As much as I like the Marvel movies quite a bit, Daredevil and Jessica Jones are the best things that Marvel has slapped their name on, and they're on Netflix. So just take that for what you will. Tony, did you watch Daredevil Season 2? Are you looking forward to this Punisher series? What you got for me?
Daredevil Season 2, I still need to get around to watching. I really enjoyed Season 1. That was really good. Like I said, I haven't seen Season 2 yet, but I have seen the trailers where they showcased Jon Bernthal as the Punisher. And I like how he looks so far. I like the images that they released. I already buy him as Punisher just by looking at the images. And like I said with the Lara Croft one, I don't have like huge knowledge on the Punisher, but I do have a friend that's like a diehard Punisher fan. So he likes to tell me all of this knowledge. And the Punisher is an interesting character. So for me personally, I can see it working for a Netflix series. And I also had a feeling it was going to turn to a Netflix series anyways, because the minute they say Punisher was they announced Punisher for Daredevil Season 2, I said, I have a feeling they're showing him so if the fans love him, they'll give him a series. And then that's what it turned out from there, because of how successful he did in Daredevil Season 2. That's probably what gave him his own series. So I do look forward to it. I look forward to Daredevil Season 2 as well. And I think they can do a lot with him for a Netflix TV series.
And this is coming from a guy that has not watched Season 2 yet. So
yep.
No, I echo everything that you said, because Jon Bernthal is pretty damn amazing in that season. It's a great rendition of that character. He's very humanized, but at the same time, he is brutal. He is very, very fucking malicious, and the violence in that show for that season, it's pretty graphic, man. And I'm just like, damn, like this is a guy that's going on this spree to find justice and stuff, and it's just. Tony, please, for the love of God, watch that season. I think you'll really, really love it. It is, God, it's so good, man. Because I love Daredevil Season 1, but Season 2 steps up to a whole other game. Now, I'm not going to say it was perfect or anything, and there's some things I didn't really care for, but the Punisher-Daredevil relationship, it's more than worth it to even sit down and watch it. So, Tony, whenever you do binge watch it, because I know you're going to binge watch it, because like the first 4 episodes are great. So whenever you do binge watch it, let me know, and then maybe Tony will die, and his spirit will arise and be like, "That was fantastic. I can go live to another life now." So yeah,
exactly.
Tony, I think you'll really enjoy it quite a bit. So just check it out whenever you can, because you know that Luke Cage is coming in the fall, so you gotta catch up, man. You gotta be you gotta watch everything before the new one comes out. You know.
I actually still haven't seen Jessica Jones yet. I still have to get around to watching that too.
Oh, Tony. What are we going to do with you, man?
I don't know, man. Just tie me up to a chair until I watch every single episode.
So basically, Tony just gave me the go-ahead, the green light to Clockwork Orange his eyes and just leave them open and be like, all right, Tony, you can't go to the bathroom, you can't eat, you can't do anything. You're going to watch this shit. So, I think you'll really enjoy it if you like Season 1. So that's it for the news, guys. It was kind of a short news week, but it's even shorter trailer week because I had to really stretch to find shit. So, Tony, since you were the guest, what trailer would you like to talk about first?
Let's see. How about Batman: The Killing Joke?
Oh, fuck yes. So I I've actually started recently watching some of the DC animated movies, and I actually found The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2 on DVD. It was during Black Friday. Each one of them were like $1.50, so it was $3 for both of them. And so I watched that one after reading the graphic novel, and I loved it and stuff. And I saw like a Justice League one, and that one was okay. There were some cool action sequences, but it's whatever. But this one, because Tony and I were around the same age, so we Tony, did you grow up with the Batman animated series from the 90s?
I remember watching some of it when I was a kid, and I am a 90s kid, so I guess you could say technically, yeah, I did grow up with it.
Okay, so yeah, the animated Batman series is regarded as some of the best Batman ever told on screen, and so Batman the Killing Joke is kind of the newest one, and it's based off of the book from 1988, and yeah, it's a really kind of graphic look and really kind of disturbing look at the Joker and his origins and just how he's trying to, like, at this point he's trying to kill people to like make himself go more mad and stuff. So like he's really kind of pushing himself as like a terrible fucking person. So Batman the Killing Joke is being animated or whatever, and yeah, I think it looks really good. A lot of people, I've gone online, a lot of people are complaining about the animation, how choppy it looks. I don't think it looks choppy. Like, I showed it to my coworker, and he actually made a good point. He said it kind of it's like a blend of the Batman animated series and like anime almost. And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of digging it. I don't know. The animation didn't bother me, and people also have to realize, I know Warner Brothers is loaded with money, but they're not going to give as much money to an animated DC movie as they would give to like a Batman v Superman live action. So people have to realize that it's not going to be top-notch animation. And yes, that is no excuse. They should still try, but at the same time, cut them a little bit of slack. I don't think the animation looks bad. I think it looks creepy. I think it looks terrifying. There's some imagery from the Joker that was like really well done in terms of the way it was drawn and stuff, and it looks exactly like the pages from the book, and it's going to be rated R. It's like the first R-rated Batman, which is an animated one, it's awesome. So I'm looking forward to it, and I've actually never bought any DC animated movie on Blu-ray. This is going to be my first one. This trailer is fucking dope. I cannot wait. It looks just maniacal, and it looks like it'll make you fucking crazy while you watch it. So, Tony, what'd you think of this trailer? And have you seen some of the DC animated movies and whatnot? So, yeah, what you got for me?
Lately, I haven't been doing good at keeping up with them. Like, every time I say I'm gonna check that one out, I end up like forgetting. Like, the last one I saw, I believe, was Son of Batman.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so I have to catch up with some of these recent DC animated films. But The Killing Joke, after watching the trailer, this is like a must-see for me, honestly. Like, this is a movie I will definitely see whenever it comes out. Like I said earlier, I don't follow the comic books, so I don't know too much about like the story of The Killing Joke. So to me, it's going to be like an entirely refreshing and new story for me in the Batman Joker world. And yeah, Mark Hamill, man. Wow, can he just terrify me with his voice of the Joker and the look of the Joker. When you see his crazy psychotic face in the trailers, I'm just all like, man, how am I going to even sleep tonight because of how creepy he is? And of course, Kevin Conroy, it'll be great. It'll be great to see him as the voice of Batman again. So I do look forward to it. I look forward to the fact that it's also rated R. Definitely going to be very interesting. And as far as the animation, I don't really think it looks choppy either. I have to agree with you. I think the animation really looks good, and I think it fits the tone for what I think Batman the Killing Joke is going to go for.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, Tony, if you go on the IMDb page or like the YouTube page of the trailer, just read the comments, man. Like, everyone is slamming the animation, and it doesn't really help when people like Grace Randolph and her little Minion fans are like listening to her every word because I watched her video and she said it was choppy, and I was like, how the fuck is it choppy? Like, it's just, it looks like a DC animated movie. Like, most of their movies look like that. So I don't get it. It never makes any sense to me. What people are complaining about. Yes, could the animation be smoother? Sure, but once again, it goes back to the budget thing, and they're not going to give $100-200 million for a direct-to-DVD Blu-ray type of movie. They're just not. And for that type of budget, I think the animation looks fine. So I don't know. I think people just need to calm the fuck down. So that is it for that trailer. And we're going to talk about this trailer. We're going to leave the best one for last. The next trailer is Approaching the Unknown. Now, this one's also getting a lot of shit on the internet. Now, I watched the trailer, and besides Luke Wilson's line deliveries, it looks cool. It looks like a mix. There was a comment on there that nailed it perfectly. It's like a mix of The Martian and Moon, and it looks like it could be like a really cool, like, psychological thriller. Essentially, what the movie is: Mark Strong is an astronaut. He shoots out to Mars, and it takes a long time to go to Mars, so he starts to do the same thing every day, and it starts to really get to him and stuff, and really messes with his head and whatnot. So I think it looks like a pretty decent little psychological thriller. So I don't know why people are dogging on this one. Besides, like I said, Luke Wilson's line delivery, that's a little questionable, but everything else looks great. It looks like it could be a really good mindfuck in a theater. So Tony, did you watch this trailer, and what did you think of it?
Yeah, this trailer was actually new to me. Like, after you gave me the notes, that's when I watched the trailer, because I had no idea about this. But I'm honestly so glad you told me, because I actually think it looks really cool, honestly. It just looks like it's a simple movie trying to tell, like, a simple psychological story on Mark Strong on his Mars mission, and, you know, the struggles he's obviously going to be facing in Mars. And it's funny how that comment says it's a mixture of The Martian and Moon, because that's actually the vibe I got. The first thing that popped into my head was that. And honestly, I think it looks very interesting. You know, I really like Mark Strong. I really like Luke Wilson. I agree with you. His line delivery isn't exactly the best, but you know what? I haven't really seen Luke Wilson, the movie, in really a while. So I look forward to seeing him in another movie again. And yeah, it just looks really interesting to me, and I hope to check it out when it comes out.
Yeah, it looks like one of those, like, small little indie films that no one's gonna ever talk about except for, like, me and Tony, and we'll put our reviews online, and people are like, "What the fuck is this movie?" And then they'll go check it out and stuff. Yeah, I don't understand why people are dogging on this one either. I think it looks pretty decent. Like, yeah, could it suck? Sure, every movie could suck, but going off of the trailer, it just looks like it could be a nice little mindfuck, kind of like what Moon was. So I don't know. Call me crazy, call Tony crazy, but we're looking forward to it. So, and then the last trailer is the big one. There's usually one big one that comes out every single week, and this one is Snowden. Now, this was my second most anticipated of the year. This is directed by Oliver Stone. It stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Edward Snowden, the infamous hero or traitor, however you want to view him. And it stars Shailene Woodley. Tony, who else was in it? I'm blanking here.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Scott Eastwood. I think I pretty much got everyone.
Okay, yeah. It was a really good cast, and I was just trying to, because Nicolas Cage was really weird when he popped up. I was like, holy shit, Nicolas Cage is in this movie. But overall in the trailer, if you guys don't know who Edward Snowden is, like I said, he stole a bunch of information from the CIA about surveillance and stuff of what the government does, and he leaked it. And a lot of people see him as a hero. A lot of people see him as a traitor. And now he's currently living in Russia because he's still getting away from the feds or whatever. But as far as the trailer goes, I think it looks really cool. It looks like it'd be a really cool type of bio movie on this certain event. My only concern is, how are they going to end it? Because Edward Snowden's story is still going. He is hiding out in Russia right now. He's not coming back home for a while until someone clears his name. So his story hasn't really ended. So that might be my only concern. is that there's really no definitive ending, and I think Oliver Stone's going to have to pull something out of his ass. So, but as far as the trailer goes, the actual event, it looks cool. It looks like a Jason Bourne type of espionage movie. A lot of people are commenting on Joseph Gordon-Levitt's accent. Guys, if you watch any interview with Edward Snowden, that's what he sounds like. He sounds like yes, the CIA, is sharing information. Like, he sounds like a kind of a monotone dude, and that just might be his personality. But I think he nailed the voice pretty damn well. So a lot of people see that as a problem. I don't see it as a problem because that's what he sounds like. But the trailer looks cool. I'm very interested, even more now after actually seeing a full trailer for it. So, Tony, what did you think of Snowden? Are you looking forward to it? And you don't have to tell me your politics on it, but do you think he was a hero, or do you think he was a traitor for what he did?
I guess I could say it's kind of hard to be honest with you. It's like kind of a mixed bag. I guess you could say like it's like I don't know how to really describe it. But it's all like he has his reasons, the stuff he does, like he has his own beliefs, his own reasons for doing it. That's how I see it. But as for the movie, I think it does look very interesting. I do look forward to it. And the accent, I have no problem with it. You know, it's the same with The Walk last year where he had that French accent. But it's all like he's supposed to, because the man that walked walked in the wire was French, so it made sense for that movie, and it makes sense for Snowden. The cast looks great. You know, I forgot to also mention that the movie also has Timothy Olyphant, Tom Wilkinson, Melissa Leo. So I believe Zachary Quinto. Yeah, Zachary Quinto as well. So you got a big cast here, and honestly, I just look forward to seeing how they'll tell this story. And as far as the ending, I think how they're going to end is just like give you subtitles that as of right now, he's hiding out and all that. Like, I think they're going to give you information at the end to kind of tell you where he's at right now. So I'm not really too concerned with the ending of the movie, but I do look forward to seeing how they'll tell his story. And, you know, Oliver Stone's a really good director, so I look forward to seeing how he'll tell the story. And yeah, it just looks like a really interesting movie to me. So Snowden, yeah, my thumbs up. And I'm glad it's finally coming out because it was supposed to come out last year, but then it got delayed. And that was supposed to come out, like, I believe in May of this year. Then it gets delayed to September of this year.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out last year to try to compete for the Oscar buzz and stuff, but it was just it was too crowded last year, so I don't blame them for moving and stuff. But yeah, regardless of your politics, of what you think about what Edward Snowden did, it looks like an interesting movie, and I think it will kind of raise questions as to kind of question your thoughts on it and be like, well, was he a hero, or oh damn, was he a traitor? Like, it is very interesting because it's going to play with the audience and make us go back and forth with our beliefs on it, and I think that's like one of the best reasons to go see movies, to challenge your beliefs and see where you stand at the end of it and stuff. And yeah, it looks great for me. And just like Tony, gets my thumbs up approval. So that's it for the trailers, guys. So whatever you guys think about the news or the trailers this week, comment in the place to rub my face and let me know. So let's get to the meat. Let's get into the entree. The appetizers are done. They're out of the fucking way. Let's talk about some movies. Now, this week we had Mother's Day shit pile come out. We had Keanu and we had Green Room. So I told Tony we're going to do Keanu and Green Room. And let's start with, and I apologize for everyone listening or watching on YouTube. My connection is like super bad right now. So like it's like very laggy. So I really do apologize about that.
Is it really? Because on my point of view, you're just fine, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's probably my end, and my roommate's probably on the computer right now, and so when we're both kind of going, it can kind of do that. So, well, at least on Tony's end, it's good. So I guess when the final product comes out, it should be okay then, hopefully. Yeah, let's talk about let me click on
Keanu.
Yeah, let's talk about Keanu first. Okay, so I'll let Tony go ahead and take this one first. But I will say that I saw this movie at South by Southwest, and that was like well over a month ago. And I can tell you guys this. We saw it at 1 a.m., and I was tired as shit. I saw like 3 movies before, and Key and Peele came out on stage. They started throwing like stuffed kittens at the audience. That was kind of cute. But the movie was so funny and so entertaining that it actually kept me up. I did not fall asleep. And this happened during daylight savings time. So when I got out of the movie, it was 4 a.m. The time jump was an hour ahead. And it was an entertaining fucking movie. There's really nothing more I can say about it. I mean, I'll go into depth and stuff, but as far as like my opening for this, it's one of the most entertaining movies I've seen in quite some time. So yeah, Tony, let's start with you first. Let's start with like the directing and the writing. So what are some of the positives that that you found from this movie?
Well, just the directing, the writing you want me to talk about for now, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, for the directing, I think it's very well directed. I think the director helped Key and Peele with their sketch show, if I'm not mistaken. So I thought direction-wise, the movie was directed very well. I thought it had a lot of really nice shots. You know, for a comedy movie, I thought there were a lot of cool wide shots to it. And writing, I thought it was honestly very well written. The movie, the writers knew the kind of movie they were going to make. I know one of the writers was Jordan Peele. So obviously they wanted to go with this absurd idea of 2 guys going out there, sacrificing their lives to save a little adorable kitten. And they played it out very well, honestly. I thought it was just a very well-written movie.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like from start to finish, this movie is entertaining as all hell. You were locked in, not only from the action, but the humor, and then of course the adorable fucking kitten. You just love all of it. And the way it is directed, you can tell that this director really gave Jordan Peele and Keegan-Michael Key some free range, some improv and stuff. And they riff off of each other so well, and the chemistry is so prevalent. You would assume that they're actually like real brothers in life, like from like blood brothers. So, as far as like the directing and writing goes, the positives is that it's really entertaining. It's really funny. It's an action comedy. It's got just a really fun storyline. It kind of spoofs John Wick a little bit. So those are the positives. For the negatives for me, I guess you could argue that maybe it's a little too long-winded a bit, because it is a pretty long movie and stuff, but I never found it an issue. But I can see how it could be an issue for some people, is it being a little too long. So Tony, do you have any like negatives with how it was written or how it was put together?
Well, some of my negatives is just that there were just like a couple of parts, like maybe just 2 parts where I did feel like the movie was dragging a bit, where it kind of took a little break from me laughing. And then I did feel like in some parts, Key and Peele, they would run the joke a little too long. Like they would say something and the joke starts out funny and they keep running it, and it's all like, okay, we kind of get the point now, you guys. And then what else? I know I had another one. Let's see. What was the other one I had? Oh yeah, some of the humor did drag on a bit. Just some of the humor didn't like always work, but like for the humor that did work, which is honestly like a good, I would say 70% of the movie, it honestly made me laugh like very hard, honestly. And I actually really liked not only the interaction between Key and Peele, but their interaction with the gangsters, like with Jason Mitchell from Straight Outta Compton. Yeah. And everyone else. Like you could just tell everyone was having a very fun time. But as far as negatives, though, those are really the only problems that I had.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me personally, like this is a very like little negative movie. Like there's just nothing really there that's like it kind of ruins the experience, you know? Like if you want to get into the acting and stuff, their chemistry is off the charts. And there's also a little bit of heart there, and it shows that they do have range. And A lot of people will know them from Key and Peele, but guess what? I actually my first ever exposure to them was Mad TV, and I actually liked Mad TV. By the way, I like both SNL and Mad TV. Mad TV back in the day was like Keegan-Michael Key, Jordan Peele, Michael McDonald, Deborah Wilson, Ari Spears, Will Sasso. That was like the core good group of even Ike Barinholtz. He's starting to grow on me now because he's even funnier in the movies nowadays. Yeah, I really enjoyed everyone's chemistry in here as far as the acting goes, and so there's really no qualms with that. Even like what Tony said with like Jason Mitchell and whatnot, like from Straight Outta Compton, he's just a nice little touch to it and stuff. Luis Guzman's, he just nice little touch on there too. So Will Forte, nice little touch. So everyone does a pretty good job. Cinematography wise, Tony, I was actually really surprised. It was a well shot movie, like for a comedy. Like, because usually comedies, it's more of a softer lighting. It's more of a kind of a basic kind of white glow to it. There's really no effort put into it, no shadows or anything. It's like a soap opera. But I was really surprised on how well the action scenes were shot and just some of the kind of choices in camera placement and color and stuff. So it was actually pretty well shot for a comedy. What do you think about the cinematography for this one?
Oh, cinematography, I thought it looked really great. It looked like how a Key and Peele sketch would be shot, but of course in a longer version. So I thought the cinematography actually captured perfectly the sketches from Key and Peele because I love their sketches. So I thought that was a very nice touch. It's very well lit throughout the entire movie. There's not like a shot I thought was like blurry or choppy. I thought every shot in the movie actually looked really great. Like what you said, they put a lot of effort into the cinematography. So yeah, honestly, I approve of the cinematography.
Yeah, it's shot very well. And so going into like kind of like the editing and special effects and stuff, for a comedy, I think it hits pretty well in terms of its rhythm and stuff, and it really it just keeps you entertained all the way throughout. So I have no problems with that. A lot of people might find it a little bit long, but I personally don't. As far as like special effects go, with like the blood and the violence stuff and the stunts, it's all really well handled, guys. I don't understand. Like when Tony and I get to the box office results, it didn't really do that well, and I was actually really hoping that this would be the one for Key and Peele to actually be very successful and whatnot. And I firmly believe it'll still be a really good cult hit. I just wish there was kind of more, I guess, praise around the movie because not many people are talking about it. But for me personally, guys, I really enjoyed it quite a bit. It was one of the most entertaining movies I saw at South by Southwest. It's funny, got a little bit of heart to it. It's like what Tony says. It's like a 2-hour version of one of their skits. The cat was adorable. And when it really hit with the humor, it really fucking hit. And there was a couple of times where the humor was like, but for the most part, it was like a 90% hit rate out of 100. So, guys, I'm going big with this one. I'm going to give Keanu an A. And is it going to be my top 10 of the year? No. But for a comedy, it did its job. It did it very well. So, Tony, I already saw your review, but go ahead and tell the people listening on this show what you would give Keanu on your grade scale.
All right. Well, on my grade scale, I gave it 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 stars. So that's a good, solid movie. And if I were to do your letter grade, it would be a solid B for me. Perfect.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Just because I gave it a little higher than Tony, we still both really enjoyed it, and I would still say I would recommend it's very highly in theaters and stuff, and just see it with a crowd and whatnot. So yeah, Keanu gets an A for me. So what did you guys think of Keanu? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? All that stuff. Comment in the place roll my face and let me know. All right, so moving on to movie number 2. Now, Tony has not seen this movie, so Green Room will specifically just be for me, and if Tony has any questions or whatever, he can do just that. And I will try to answer it to the best of my ability. So, Green Room, the plot behind this one is that there's a band that goes to this like really seedy type of bar club, and they eventually get trapped in there. I'm not going to say why or how, They get trapped and they get basically terrorized by a bunch of neo-Nazis, whom of which the leader is run by Patrick Stewart. So this movie, man, this fucking movie, I really liked it quite a bit. And if I want to break it down, let's start with the writing and directing. Now, as far as the way it's written, it feels like a really just gory midnight revenge movie that you would see it, like I said, midnight with your friends, like super drunk or something at a theater. So I thought the revenge aspect of the story was really well handled. It had a certain style to it, a certain kind of feeling to it. The atmosphere was very palpable with, violence and revenge and kind of like a dark comedic undertone. It was a lot of different things. And I think that director really put a stamp on it. I think it's Jeremy Soliner, and he did Blue Ruin a few years ago. I didn't see Blue Ruin, but a lot of people praise that and stuff. But for what he did with the story, because he wrote it as well, like I said, there's this really kind of grim B-movie atmosphere and tone that he's got saturated throughout the movie. And I really appreciate that because it was a really entertaining movie, even though it was a movie about neo-Nazis. It was really fun to watch. It was gruesome. It was kind of, like I said, darkly comedic at some points. It was intriguing. It was terrifying. Patrick Stewart is very captivating as this neo-Nazi. Everything just hit in this director's chair that I really liked. I guess some of the negatives would be some of the dialogue was pretty badly delivered from Anton Yelchin and other people. But I'm not going to really dock him for that because it's still a very solid kind of B-movie thriller. As far as the acting goes, I really love Anton Yelchin a lot. The first thing I ever saw him in was Alpha Dog, and I thought he was really good in that. He's really good in Star Trek, and he's good in everything he pops up in. So he's fine. But Patrick fucking Stewart, holy shit, this guy is terrifying. Because like for Tony and I, we see him as Professor X. And so when he's in movies like this, it's like, oh my God, Professor X is killing motherfuckers. Like it was scary. He was enthralling. Everything about his character was just intriguing because he was really calm throughout most of the movie. I loved his performance quite a bit. He was definitely the shining part in the movie. And I guess one of the negatives would be I wish there was more of him. And the supporting cast was fine. They were serviceable. But you see this movie for Patrick Stewart and Anton Yelchin. I think they're the best actors in this movie by far. Cinematography-wise, this has got some really good, grim kind of shots to it. The shadows are really harsh, but they look really kind of like beautiful and haunting at the same time with this like graphic violence and just kind of like really creepy environment. So like I said, the colors, green is a very prevalent color in this. Green is poking out. There's a lot of blacks and blues and stuff. It's really colorful. And like I said, kind of like beautiful and haunting at the same time. The cinematography is very, very well handled. And moving on into the editing and special effects, this movie's edited very well. Like it's an hour and a half. It starts out with a bang and you are immediately in this movie. And then like it takes you on this like crazy ass ride all the way up until the very end. So I never found it to have any pace issues or anything. I was always entertained by the next scene. And I have to talk about this. I rarely talk about practical effects, but the gore and the violence in this movie, the practical effects were fucking awesome. Like there was scenes where like arms are barely hanging off tendons and like people were getting shot in the face and it just looks so hyper realistic. But at the same time, it kind of like adds that like gravitas to the movie to where it's like, oh shit, if I was in this situation, this would probably be what happened. And it's like really freaking me out. So the violence is really well handled. It's kind of graceful, but it's like super bloody and graphic, but it's really well done with like I said, the effects team and stuff. Guys, before I give my grade, Tony, do you have any questions or like, are you looking forward to seeing this movie? Do you want to check it out eventually? And did you see Blue Ruin?
No, I haven't seen Blue Ruin. This movie, I saw the trailer for it actually when I went to go see Midnight Special a few weeks ago. And I thought it looked okay to me personally. Like like if it like it right now it's playing like 45 minutes away from my theater. If it like comes to like my theater that's 30 minutes away, or my nearest theater, which is like about 7 minutes away, I'll probably check it out and review it. Okay. But as far as questions, let me think of a good one. Oh yeah, do you recommend this movie for people that can't handle violence in movies?
That would be a hell to the fuck no. This movie is graphic. I wouldn't send anyone to this that has any type of problem with violence, because this, Tony, I'm telling you, some of the violence will kind of blow your mind. You're like, oh my God, that was like super brutal and visceral. Like, what the hell is, like, I cannot believe some of the effects look that good. But to answer that question, no.
Would you say it's at the level of Saw?
I'll say yeah. I'll say that it's pretty much like on the same type of playing field as Saw and whatnot. Because Saw is pretty graphic, and I'm gonna let Tony know this. I'll let you guys know this because I don't give a fuck if you guys judge me. I think the Saw franchise is one of the best horror storyline franchises that we've had in the past like 20 years. And you might think I'm crazy, I might be smoking something, but if you look at that movie or that series from number 1 to number 7, it's a really damn good type of like kind of like murder mystery police thriller or something like that. So I really love the Saw movies. But then again, Tony is a good person. I'm not a good person, and I'm kind of like a sick in the head to where like I love graphic violence. I do. I'm kind of like Tarantino in the sense of like, it's fantasy. It is. And I'm entertained by it and stuff, and I never have any problems with it or anything. So I would compare it to the Saw franchise.
Sweet. Funny how you bring up Tarantino, because I know he apparently loved this movie. Like he said, it was like the most sensational out of the blue movie he's seen, something like that. So I know Tarantino loved Green Room.
That doesn't surprise me because this is definitely like a Tarantino flick, for sure. And the violence actually has like that Tarantino flavor to it, kind of like what The Hateful Eight was. But The Hateful Eight and like Django Unchained, as much as I like watching the violence in those movies, they're very cartoonish, just like watching a real life cartoon.
Oh yeah.
But Green Room is like, it's gritty. It's like in your face, brutal and stuff. If you do not like hardcore violence, I would not suggest this movie to you. This is definitely a niche type of movie because I went to Fantastic Fest last year in September, right? And this was playing there, and I didn't see it. I didn't get a chance to see it and stuff, but I heard really great things walking out of it. And you guys have to keep in mind, Fantastic Fest is like a genre film, so it was perfect for that that environment. But yeah, out of all the good things that were said from the festival and myself, I would still recommend it. And Tony, do you have any more questions before I give my score?
I probably just have like one more. I will say, the question was, how much screen time does Patrick Stewart have? Like, is it one of those things where he's barely in the movie, or would you say he's in the movie for like a good amount?
I gotta be honest with you. I think if I can tally up in my head like all the scenes, 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Of like actual like screen time and dialogue, because like the majority of the movie takes place in this green room at this like bar club type of deal, and Patrick Stewart owns the place. So we take place mostly in this green room with Anton Yelchin and the other band members. So that's where most of the movie stems from. But when Patrick Stewart is on screen, he's very powerful. He's got that presence with him to where you're like, it feels like he was in the movie longer. But okay, maybe I'll bump it up to 20 minutes. But he's definitely not in the movie that much. But when he's on screen, he's definitely commanding for sure.
Okay, so at least it's more than just a cameo, at least.
Oh yeah, no, he's got a prominent role, and this just might be the selfish thing of for me, is that I wanted more, because that the character was interesting. I was like, I want to hear more backstory from this fucking guy that's just like, you know, Nazi heaven over here. So I thought he did a really good job and stuff, and it's definitely one of those roles that he's out of his wheelhouse, he's out of his box or whatever, and that's great because Tony, you agree with me, right? When you see Patrick Stewart, if you're an X-Men fan, you think of Professor X. If you're a Star Trek fan, you think of Picard. So, like when you see Patrick Stewart, what do you think of?
I think of what you said, Charles Xavier from the X-Men movies.
Exactly. So when you watch this movie, you're like, Charles Xavier, why are you fucking murdering these people? What are you doing? You're fucked up in the head, sir. Let's get you some help. So
it's like I thought you were all about hope and just being good in the world.
Tony, for this movie, it's not about hope. It's about crushing your soul and making you just like cry inside. That's what his whole goal is. So yeah, he's really great. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna give Green Room a B for a B movie. I'm gonna give it a solid B. So I think it's really entertaining. It's not for everyone, but for me personally, I enjoyed it quite a bit. And as of right now, since there's really not that much in contention, it's in my top 10 of the year. Because like I said, there's not much in contention. So yeah, Tony, whenever you see Green Room, man, if you do and you put it on your channel, I will watch it because after talking about it with you and stuff, like I want to know like your thoughts. And I want you to be like, you're like, my God, the violence in that thing was just, what the fuck was that? Like type of deal. Like you're just gonna be like shocked. You're like, well, why was it that graphic? Like I don't understand. So
it's just all like it's funny because you watch a lot of movies that are violent, but it's like once in a while you're gonna watch that movie that goes, damn, I've seen violent movies, but fuck me.
Like you watch it and you go, I'm kind of a fucked up person for liking this. So you know what? To each his own, man. I love the Saw movies. I love slasher movies. Sue me. They're fucking movies. They're fantasy. So I'm going to give Green Room a B. So have you seen Green Room or have you even heard of it? Comment in the place below my face and let me know. So with that being said, Mr. Tony Estrada, let's get into some box office results. Now, I gave Tony the notes and I said, this is what we're doing. But if Tony's been watching my show and stuff, he knows that you don't look at the numbers. I have my guest try to guess it. So, Tony, you haven't looked at the numbers, correct?
Nope, I have not. I stayed cleared away from it because I knew you were going to ask me to predict, so I stayed away from it.
Oh, fuck yeah. This is going to be fun. So, all right, Mr. Tony Estrada with 22 Tiger Dude channel. Let's see if he can do this.
Oh, boy. I'm kind of scared, honestly.
Now, I'll give you the 3 releases that came out. That way it kind of helps you.
Okay.
Ratchet and Clank came out, Mother's Day, and Keanu.
Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm going to say number 1 is still The Jungle Book.
Okay.
Then I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to have to say number 2 is Keanu.
Okay.
I'm going to say number 3 is I'll say Ratchet and Clank. I'll say Ratchet and Clank for 3. Number 4, let's see. What else has been out lately? Let's see. I'm going to say number 4 is The Huntsman Winter's War.
Okay.
And then I'll say number 5 is the Gary Marshall Cinematic Achievement Mother's Day.
And I am glad to report to you that you only got 1 right.
So, are you serious?
You got 1 right. All right. So speaking of Ratchet and Clank, that came in at number 7 with 4.8 million. Let's click on the movie. There's no budget listed and there's no worldwide numbers. So Ratchet and Clank didn't even make 5 million. Congratulations.
Oh, wow.
That came in at number 7. Number 6 was actually Zootopia. Then for number 5, Tony, you forgot about Barbershop.
Oh.
That was number 5. So Barbershop, 6.1 million. This movie was doing really well. It's made the numbers will come up. Oh, fuck you, box office mojo. It was like stalling. It's got 44 million domestically. That's really good for this movie in this series because the second one came out like fucking 10 years ago. So good for it. I have no problem with it.
I think it's the word of mouth that helped it, honestly.
Yeah, because a lot of people were actually really surprised, which is actually surprising to me. So number 4, Mother's Day with 8.3 million. I'm glad that people are starting to realize that these movies are piles of horse shit, and they're just like, oh, we should probably stay away from that. No worldwide numbers, no budget. So it made 8 million. There you go.
Maybe the budget is a bacon sandwich.
A bacon sandwich and a coupon to Walgreens. All right, so number 3. And Tony, keep these numbers in mind. Because number two and number 3 are severely close, and you guys have to keep in mind, this is the prediction for Sunday, for the weekend.
Right.
When Monday's numbers come out, they could alter. So just keep that in mind. Number 3, Keanu with 9.35 million. So keep that number in mind. 3.5. I seriously thought it was going to be a bigger hit than this because I really love Keanu, and I said it was going to be a smash hit at the box office. I was wrong. But its budget's only 15 million, so doubling that for the theaters and marketing and stuff, I'm going to say they need about 35, maybe 36 to break even. If they're on this path, with good word of mouth, then they could actually do that. And if they release it worldwide and have the worldwide numbers, I think they can do it with no problem. So I have no worries for this movie. Now,
I would figure to get higher because of the fan base Key and Peele have, though.
Well, and I was actually thinking about that too, Tony, but I was also thinking that this movie's rated R, so it does cut out a lot of potential people that watch the Key and Peele sketches online on YouTube, which is like a teenage community.
Oh, yeah.
When you have an R-rated movie, kind of limits them from seeing it. So that makes sense, but I'm glad it was rated R. I like the tone of it. So, all right, number 2, Huntsman Winter's War, but here's the number. Wow. 9.39 million. It's literally $40,000 higher than Keanu. Now, since that's really close, it could change tomorrow. But as of right now, these are the numbers. It fell. Tony, would you like to guess the drop-off on Winter's War?
I'm going to guess, a 25%?
51.
Holy shit.
That thing dropped off like a motherfucker. It was like, boom, dead, done. So, Huntsman Winter's War, I don't give a shit about seeing that movie. So, yeah. Its budget, $115 million. So, doubling that, plus the marketing, I'm going to say it needs about 240, maybe 250 to break even. Domestically, 33, which is the U.S. and Canada, and worldwide, it's only got 130. It's still $100 million behind just from breaking even. Universal, you done fucked up. No one asked for this. Just go in your corner and cry. That you deserve that. So, and then this is the number 1 movie that Tony got right, was The Jungle Book. Now, he's going to guess on both of them. How much did it make, Tony, and what was the drop-off? Now, keep in mind, it's been out this is its 3rd week, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so how much did it make and what was its drop-off?
Okay. I'm going to guess about a good 35 million. And I'll say the drop-off is, a good 30%.
Ah, damn. Okay, so the drop-off was 31. So you hit the nail on the head with that. But the box office, you were closer than the other ones, 42.
Oh, okay.
Not bad. So, The Jungle Book, kicking ass, taking names. It's doing its shit, and the box office is incredible. 42 million with the drop of 31%. Guys, this movie's on track to be like Zootopia Part 2, where Zootopia came in, slayed, dominated the box office for weeks, and it's still making money. The Jungle Book, budget 175, so double it, you need about 350. To break even, you need about I'm gonna say 375, maybe 400. Right now, The Jungle Book. And keep in mind, for next week, that Civil War comes out. It's owned by Disney, so they're gonna dominate again. Jungle Book's got 252 for domestic. It's got 684 million worldwide. So even with a $400 million price tag to break even, it's already like making hand over fist balls of cash. So congratulations, Jungle Book. I loved you quite a bit. Now, I did not want to do this to Tony until on the spot, but we're going to do it anyways. Civil War opened up in foreign territories. So it's got some numbers, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to pull it up here. Oh, my God. Oh, my. Tony, how much do you think it made in foreign territories this weekend?
Whew. Okay. In four territories, I'm going to guess 400 million.
That was a little too high. It was a little generous, but 200 million opening weekend in foreign territories.
Oh, wow.
I don't think people realize how much money that fucking is, and the fact that it's probably going to be that same amount next weekend domestically. Oh my God, this movie is going to blow expectations out of the water. It's going to dominate Batman v Superman, which is a film I liked, by the way. I didn't love it, but it's going to dominate that movie. It's going to dominate the previous Avengers films. Tony, this movie is going to make theaters implode, not explode. They're going to implode and just like kind of fall into each other because of how much fucking money it's going to make. So does this really surprise you? It doesn't really surprise me, but like 200 million? That's ridiculous.
It doesn't really surprise me either. But the question I have for you, Chase, is do you think it'll do better than Star Wars The Force Awakens when it opened?
Because Star Wars, it was rocking, what, 248 its opening weekend?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and The Force Awakens is the highest grossing movie opening weekend of all time. Worldwide, it's Batman v Superman, but if you want to talk about domestic, it's Star Wars.
It's kind of tough to decide, honestly.
Tony, I don't know, man, because like the first Avengers made 209, Age of Ultron made 191. Because even if it hit Avengers numbers, it's still 40 million off. So I'm going to say no, but I'm going to say it's going to hit about 220, 225.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's around the sweet spot. Now, if it obliterates Star Wars, Disney's going to be jumping up and down, and they're going to be like, I don't give a fuck about anything, because they're going to be Scrooge McDucking it for like 2 days in a row with during the weekend. Okay, guys, I want you to keep this in mind. Zootopia right now has made 931 million worldwide, so almost $1 billion. The Jungle Book has made almost 700 million. Civil War is going to blow it out of the water. Disney's having one of the best years I've seen in quite some time. Holy fuck. Congratulations. Like, just, Jesus Christ, man. Like, I don't even know what to fucking say. Like, they might have 3 movies in the top 5 next week. Like, that's how insane it is. So, I'm looking forward to Civil War. Tony's looking forward to it. It's going to obliterate everything. And, God damn it, I cannot wait, man. It's going to be great. So, speaking of that, that is it for this show, guys. And I want to thank Tony for coming on. So, Tony, I got your YouTube in the description below, but go ahead and say it out loud and tell everyone where they can find you online.
You can find me at youtube.com/22tigerdude. If you want to follow me on my Facebook page, it's facebook.com/22tigerdude. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's twitter.com/tigerdude22. Instagram at 22tigerdude. And if you want to follow my Letterboxd account, it's letterboxd.com/ I think it's tigerdude22, something like that. So yeah, you could find me in all of those sites.
Awesome. And if you guys want to follow me, it's at Real Chasely right here at the below. All those Spreaker, iTunes, what have you, follow, and follow Tony. I mean, congratulations, man. Not many people can say they have thousands of subscribers, but because Tony was he was hitting at the 1,000s for a long time, but now he's got 2. He can actually say I have thousands of followers, not 1,000, but he has thousands. So yeah, congratulations, man. And if Tony's he's a really good movie reviewer. He's one of the few people I've subscribed to, and people have to realize that it's tough to have the balls to go on camera and do your shit. but you also have to deliver everything pretty well. You have to communicate very well. And Tony is one of those guys that can communicate movies at the back of his hand, man. Like, he can be blindfolded. He could have something happening in the background. He'll still deliver a movie review. And he's one of the few people I know that's like a huge SpongeBob fan. Because people don't know this, but I remember when SpongeBob Out of Water came out last year, and I saw it, and I was like, hey, that was a pretty good movie. Tony on Facebook was saying that it was like the Messiah or something. He was like, oh my God, SpongeBob is coming out. I'm going to lose my fucking mind. Like, he's like one of the biggest SpongeBob fans, and I got to commend him for that because it's amazing, man. Like, I'm glad that you look at that. If you guys are watching on YouTube, Tony, go ahead and talk so they can see it.
As you guys can see, if you're watching this from YouTube, this is the SpongeBob wall, I guess you could say. This is what I use whenever I find the time to review SpongeBob episodes on my channel.
That's great, man. Because listen, we all have the stuff that we're obsessed with, and Tony's got SpongeBob. I got comic book movies and shit. So that's awesome, man. But yeah, that was one of the first times I ever kind of saw Tony was from a SpongeBob review, and I was like, I gotta give him props because it's like not many people review television episodes on YouTube. It's usually seasons. Tony does by episodes. Like that's crazy. But yeah, that's awesome, man. So yeah, follow Tony, follow me, do all that jazz. And for next week, guys, episode 129, I will have Susan Kamyab on here, and we will discuss Marvel's Civil War. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Cannot wait. I will like I told Tony, I will probably die. My spirit will arise, and I will look at everyone leaving the theater going, you fools, you didn't enjoy this as much as I did. So, yeah, next week, Captain America Civil War, cannot fucking wait. So, look, Tony's like, he's Team Iron Man. Look at that. Okay, Tony, we're going to fight now because I'm Team Cap. So, I don't know what this Iron Man nonsense is, but you got to stop that.
I've only got one thing to say to you, Chase.
Select all. Iron Man armor. Activate.
Thank you, Mr. Stark. Thank you for joining. So, yeah, next week's Civil War, guys, is gonna be a lot of fun. So, yeah, if you listen to this entire movie podcast and you want to continue to listen next week, that's awesome. I love you guys so much. You guys are great listeners and stuff. I adore every single one of you. And hey, if you made it through this entire podcast and you're not a movie fan, well, hopefully Tony and I convinced you to be one. So I'm Chase Lee. This has been Real Me and Colin, a movie podcast. That is Tony Estrada, 22 Tiger Dude on YouTube. And the intro and outro music is done by my friends band Fervent Rose. They actually have a music video dropping today. Check that shit out. Peace out, everyone. Go see Green Room and be disgusted. Or go see Keanu and be cutified. Bye-bye. See you guys later.